It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
And this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. And joining me this week is comedian and compere Jay Lafferty, and with her is stand-up Gareth Waugh. And facing off against them is Scotland's premier blind comedian Jamie McDonald, and joining him is comedian Eleanor Morton. In the news this week, the United States Senate unanimously approved a measure last week that would make daylight saving time permanent across the country next year through a bipartisan bill named the Sunshine Protection Act. Of course, in Scotland, similar legislation was quickly repealed by the famous Taps-Off Act of 1974. Four adorable Asian small-clawed otter kits at Edinburgh Zoo have been given river-inspired names. The female quadruplets have been named Esk, Isla, Yarrow and Yuri. Four names that have not been heard together since they took the register at a Morningside nursery school. And a KFC in Dundee has banned customers under the age of 18 after 6 p.m. due to antisocial behaviour. A spokesperson stated that whilst regrettable, they had to maintain a certain standard if they're going to remain Dundee's premier wedding venue. Right, you've met the panel. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where the teams have to guess two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Jay and Gareth, can you tell me what the first story in the mashup is?
Most of the remaining
oil fields
in Scotland have officially come to an end. However,
the BBC understands Shell is considering drilling in
shops, hospitality venues and on public transport.
It's all coming together now, isn't it? OK, so first story in there. Any thoughts, Jay?
I think it is, as looking back at the last 2 years since the first lockdown, restrictions are easing again, although infections are rising. We're not really sure. It's been a lot.
It is the news that customer details are no longer needed to be collected by hospitality venues, but face masks will remain in place as COVID measures were eased further in Scotland on Monday. This week also marked 2 years since the first lockdown was introduced back in March 2020. The requirement for places of worship to take reasonably practicable measures set out in Scottish Government coronavirus guidance is also being ended, bringing the welcome news that christenings will no longer have to take place down at the jet wash. It's a tough time for everyone.
Personally, myself, in the last 2 years, I've had a baby, I've lost my career, I've moved my whole family into my parents', I got a job, I've moved my family back home, realised while I was self-employed, quit my job, got my career back, bought a house, sold a house, moved the house, caught COVID. Then my husband caught COVID, which of course was worse. I've never been so desperate for another lockdown. I'm needing a break. My loungewear has been neglected. There's a bottle of wine in my kitchen, unopened. What's going on?
I love the way of all the things, an unopened bottle of wine was the most shocking thing for our audience. 2 years in from the first lockdown, Gareth, does it feel now, with the slight easing of some restrictions, that the pandemic is maybe coming to an end?
God, I hope so. Just so we've got something else to talk about on the opening rounds of panel shows. It's been a long old time.
So, Jamie, obviously news developing this week, and it's 2 years since the start of the first lockdown. Do you think now the pandemic maybe is coming to an end?
But I was in Paris because I'm chic. And it was just so inconsistent. The only time I had to show my COVID passport was just to these two bouncers who looked at it, right, and just said to each other, une AstraZeneca, du Moderna. And the other guy went, ooh la la. And I was allowed into the Wetherspoons and the Champs-Elysees.
I'm glad to see French security is as tight as we've been led to believe. Eleanor, what do you think about this? Obviously, 2 years since the first lockdown, some restrictions now being eased in Scotland. Are we looking at the pandemic maybe coming to an end?
If I'm honest, I had an okay lockdown. I moved back in with my parents, so they didn't have an okay lockdown. But I sort of became like a Jane Austen character. I took up embroidery. I did a walk around the village each day, and I wasn't allowed to touch any men, so...
Obviously, the phrase that's been kicked about over the past couple of years for how we come out of it is the new normal. Gareth, how do you picture that? How do you see that?
Well, because like the last couple of years, I was working in the supermarket, so I was doing like 30 odd hours a week. I was going out, I was seeing lots of people every week at the shop and like just living like that. So now that things are kind of back to normal, the new normal for me being a stand-up is like staying in the house, not really seeing anyone during the day, doing any meetings over Zoom. So it's pretty much like a lockdown, to be fair.
Jamie, what about you? How would you describe the new normal?
Well, you know, right, back in like maybe the 1400s where they just invented windows, right? And the first time a blue bottle came up against that, that's like me with the Perspex screens in Tesco's. Honestly, last week I must have been half an hour trapped in that invisible box. Look, from a distance, I must have looked like a mime.
And well done for getting the right answer, of course. We were talking about 2 years since the first lockdown, or as the CEO of Zoom calls it, 2 years since Skype threw away a 20-year head start down the drain. Yes, the latest from the pandemic and the 2-year anniversary of the first lockdown is the right answer, Jay and Gareth. Well done, you get 2 points for that. Now to you, Jamie and Eleanor, what was the other story we were after?
This was the Cambo oil fields near Shetland in the sea. And Shell they weren't going to do it, and now they are going to do it.
It's the news that the energy giant Shell is reconsidering its recent decision to pull investment from Cambo oil field off the west coast of Shetland. This is according to reports. Sources close to the matter said that while the company's official position had not changed, it did acknowledge that the economic, political and regulatory environment had changed enormously since the decision was announced just 3 months ago. Now, coincidentally, when you're filling up at the petrol pump, if you put your ear against the word Shell, you can actually hear the sound of cash gushing out of your bank account.
I just think it's baffling that you go to Shetland and not use their renewable energy. Because I don't know if you've been to Shetland, Des?
Yes, I have.
It is all wind. It is nothing but wind. It is an island of wind. There are no trees, so it's more wind. I think Shetland is Norse for wind.
There you go. It does seem like an unusual decision, only 3 months after the first decision was made. But there you go. Situations in the world have changed. Jamie, what do you think? Is it right to have a rethink about the Cambo oil fields?
Will it stop taxi drivers telling me how much a litre of petrol costs? It's like, I've got no frame of reference, mate. I don't drive. Is that a lot? Is that a lot? Is that a lot? $1.99? I get like the history of oil.
What do you think about this then, Gareth? 3 months after the original decision, are they right to rethink the Cambo oil field?
I'll be very honest, I don't know an awful lot about this story. When you were going on about the Cambo oil field before, I thought that was the new name for St James's Park.
I've had a rebrand. What do you think about a commitment to greener energy?
I just feel like green energy is almost doomed to fail, because you know at least half of Glasgow is going to refuse to use green energy.
Jay, what do you think about our commitment to greener energy?
I would have called myself very green. Like, I'm a fan of Greta. I was an enthusiastic recycler, very pro-green energy, so much so that my house is all electric. I signed up with a green supplier, and then I got a smart meter, and the energy prices went up, and I've turned into Rockefeller. I'm just in the back garden digging for oil. Honestly, since we got our smart meter, we've had to become more reliant on solar energy, and by that, what I mean is when the sun goes down, we go to bed. The most infuriating thing about a smart meter is you have to plug it in.
Yeah.
It's costing me money to be driven mad by my smart meter. It's horrendous.
So we're all looking for ways to save energy. Jamie, what about you? What will you do to save energy?
Already, I'm doing big things. I turn the telly off at the wall at night now. And I've started to just twice instead of thrice cook my chips. Captain Planet over here.
I can tell that, yeah. Big sacrifices. More like Captain Birdseye. So well done, 2 points for that. It was the mashup of COVID in Scotland and the Cambo oil field. And at the end of that round, the teams are on 2 points apiece. Now, so much of our news is about public opinion, and this week we spoke to broadcaster and journalist Katrina Shearer and retired journalist and broadcaster Bill Whiteford. So, Jamie and Eleanor, what story do you think Katrina is on about here?
I can see how productivity would totally just go through the roof. I had several. I had one that was a flip-top one. I had a nice blue one. It was all about the snake, really.
I think it might be that there's been a revival in, I think they call them dumb phones, which are the non-smartphone, the ones like the old Nokias and stuff. They're coming back in.
And that is the right answer. Well done. It is the story that there's been a rise in interest and sales in dumb phones. Now, dumb phones, as opposed to smartphones, are basic handsets with very limited functionality compared to, say, an iPhone or a Samsung. Jamie, would this interest you? Would you like a dumb phone?
Oh, 100% no. I had phones back then, but they didn't have any speech software, so I had to remember like everybody's mobile back in the 90s. I didn't read a text till 2015.
Actually, that's a good point. It's probably changed your life for the better, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. I mean, the first text I got in 2015 was just telling me about an accident I couldn't remember.
Eleanor, what do you think about this? Would you like a dumb phone?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like 2,000 of them, right? Because they are like bricks. I could build my own house. Nailed it.
Would you like a dumb phone?
No, I genuinely wouldn't, because like the two things that a dumb phone is good for is calling and texting, which is the thing that I use my phone for the least. So no, I wouldn't like that. And the thing with calls, right? I don't know anyone at my age that answers calls or anything like that, which to me is what the most unbelievable part of like horror movies. You know, like they'll get a call up from a private number, which is scary enough. But then when they answer it, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Nobody answers a private call.
What about you, Eleanor, in your life? Can you see the appeal of less technology?
I can see a nice, a peacefulness, a calm, but I can't live without Google Maps. Like, my generation doesn't know what real maps are. Like, if you gave me a rule, I'd be just stabbing it with my finger and making it move. And then that's not even touching on having to fold it back up again.
Gareth, can you see the appeal of maybe having less technology?
If you're going to use old stuff, then you've got to go fully in and just use old stuff, right? Like get a horse, churn your own butter. Oh, you're sick? Nothing a few leeches won't sort out.
You're right, go for it properly.
I would trade my car in for a horse in a heartbeat, because people are a lot more cautious about reversing into you if they're going to get a hoof in the face.
Obviously, we're talking about phones being dumbed down, that is the name. What else in life would you like dumbed down?
University Challenge. That's on at the start of the week. You don't want to feel that thick on a Monday. It puts you all wrong.
Yeah. And Jay, finally, what do you think? What else in life would you like dumbed down?
My child. He's too smart. Like, I realised I was spending too much time on my phone when I was in the park with him one day, and I was on my phone, and he came over and he looked at me and his wee eyes were filled with tears, and he went, "Mama, do you love your phone more than me?" And I was like, "Can you say that again for TikTok, son?" I know. I put the hashtag, "How cute is this?" 15,000 views so far.
Hey, you've done well.
No.
Mobile phones, as you know, have come full circle, with people in their 20s now giving up their smartphones and asking their granny to please show them how to work a Nokia 3310. Of course, real hipsters don't even have a dumb phone. To be truly retro, you need to carry around a landline phone on your granny's hall table. Yes, the rise of the dumb phone is the correct answer. 2 points goes to Jamie and Eleanor. Right to you, Jay and Gareth. What do you think Bill is talking about here?
People have been counting populations forever, haven't they? I mean, even in the Bible, it's as old as the hills, and it's still necessary one way or another. I mean, do it online or do it on paper. You still have to know how many people are in the country.
OK, what do you think Bill was talking about? Any ideas, Gareth?
Oh, certainly do. The most exciting topic in the news for the last decade. It's time for everyone's favourite time of the decade. It's the census.
It's the right answer. Well done, Gareth. Yes, it is the news that the 20th of March was Scottish Census Day, a once-in-a-decade count of the population across Scotland. The census opened to people in February, and already more than 1 million households have completed it. It asks questions on a range of topics, including the types of accommodation people live in, household relationships, age, sex, health, and employment status. The only difference between the Scottish Census and the rest of the UK is the wording of the religious question, which asks, what school did you go to?
Do you know it's illegal not to fill it in?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I only just found that out. Could you imagine in the van on your way to court from Saughton? What you in for? I didn't count my household.
Jamie, what do you think about this? Do you see the point in the census?
I mean, I think it's quite good. You know, you can find out kind of demographics. So, like, if you find out a place in Perth, whose average age is like 97, you probably want to put your new Go Ape somewhere else.
Eleanor, what do you think about it? It's obviously the week of the Scottish Census. Do you see the point in the census?
As you know, I'm a big history nerd. I'm really interested in history, and my dad's used the census, you know, to trace family stuff, and he's found out some really cool things. He found out, like, his grandfather was a wall builder in Aberdeen, and his great-grandfather was a wall builder in Aberdeen. But his great-great-grandfather was a wall builder in Dumfriesshire, so...
Wow.
Really crazy stuff.
There's a lineage. We can see why you wanted the brick phones in.
It's in my blood. It's all I know.
It's all you know. Obviously, the census has come around. It's been touched upon a couple of times about the questions that featured in the census. So let's see if our panel can do any better. What question would you like to put in the census?
Oh, the one that we're all going to agree on. Do you agree that the ending of the last line of duty was disappointing?
Yes, they do.
Well, there we go. Of course, it was Census Day, and that was the right answer. One question in the Scottish Census asked what the weather was like at the time of completion. Then the next question was, what about now? Yes, the Scottish Census is the correct answer, and 2 points go to Jay and Gareth. You're tuned to Breaking the News on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. So I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. Jay and Gareth, you're first this time. Who is this?
Hollywood is supposed to lead. Hollywood is supposed to be the most diverse and the most inclusive. All of the voices of so many different types of people and so many different stories.
This is a story all about how Will Smith got nominated for Best Actor.
My mother once called him the Fresh Prince of Bells Hill.
Be a very different show.
Well done. That was the right answer. It is Will Smith. Will Smith is in the news ahead of the 94th Academy Awards. The star is likely to win his first Oscar for his performance in King Richard, a film that took the story of two of the greatest female tennis players of all time and bravely made it about a man. But there you go, Will Smith in the news. Eleanor, he's up for the Oscar and the BAFTA. Do you think he's going to do the double?
I don't know. I saw the movie. It was very good. I don't know why they didn't do the bit where he's looking for his horse. I feel like that's classic, isn't it?
They've missed a key part of the storyline.
What? No, yeah. And, you know, he could... overcoming the sporting challenges could have been more groundbreaking if they kept the hump. I'm going to keep going with this. No.
Yeah. It's the end where they find him in a car park in Leicester.
But I like the idea of biopics purely based around people's dads. That's fun. Mine would be called King Keith, and it'd just be 2 hours of him trying to get the printer to work. So. You can't say it's not relatable, guys.
So we're talking about Will Smith, and obviously ahead of that, the 94th running of the Academy Awards. You think maybe they're no longer relevant?
No, I think they're absolutely vital because, like, we've got to keep celebrities distracted. We've got to send them somewhere and get them doing stuff because otherwise we might end up with one of those Imagine videos again.
Of course, we're talking about Will Smith and the Oscars and giving out prizes. So, what is the best thing that you have ever won? Jay.
When I was a student, I won a hula hooping challenge at the student union. I know.
Well done.
I know. It was really hard because it was a cheese and onion flavour and they're minging.
What is the best thing that you've ever won?
When I was 14, I won a Young Writers competition, and one of the prizes was writing a script for the actors from River City.
Oh,
And thank you. And for one day only, Shell Suit Bob was my puppet.
Jamie, what do you think about this then? What is the best thing that you have ever won?
Best beaver. Yeah, I won Best Beaver in 1989.
What are you talking about?
The Beavers are before the Cubs.
Oh, okay.
And I got Best Beaver of the Week.
King Richard is the third sports biopic Will Smith has appeared in, after Ali, where he played boxing legend Muhammad Ali, and I, Robot, where he played Peter Crouch. Here we go, 2 points go to Jay and Gareth. That was Will Smith. Right, Jamie and Eleanor, it's your turn now. Who is this and why are they in the news?
But I'm so happy and I'm so ready, and I just know at the moment in my heart for me as a person, this is right.
Ash Barty, who is only 25, has decided to retire from tennis.
It's the right answer, yes. Yeah. It is Ash Barty, or Ashley Barty, or there ain't no party like an Ashley Barty. World number one Ash Barty has shocked the sporting world by announcing that she will retire from professional tennis at just 25. She said that the cost of travel was prohibitive now, that she no longer qualifies for a young person's rail card. It's a big sacrifice. The Australian made the announcement on social media on Wednesday saying that she was leaving to chase other dreams. Barty won 3 Grand Slam titles, including this year's Australian Open in January. Gareth, is there something to be said about going out on a high?
Absolutely. I think more people should probably be looking out to go out on a high. I mean, I reckon Matt Hancock and Dominic Cummings would have loved to have went out on a high instead of the way they did.
Yeah.
The girl's at 18 million. Of course she's right to quit. If I had 1 million at the age of 25, I would have quit my job. Like, I wouldn't have just quit my job. I'd be dead. I'd have died in a champagne-related Monaco casino incident.
So there you go. She's gone out at the top. Not just that, Ash Barty has retired at the age of 25. What do we think about that as a number? Eleanor, do you think 25's too early to retire from anything?
Yeah, because when I was 25, I hadn't even figured out how to use an Allen key. I don't know why people are so impressed by young sports prodigies. Like, as a culture, we're obsessed with youth. But it's like, obviously she's good. She's agile, she's young, she's healthy, she's fit. Obviously she's good. You know, show me a 94-year-old Grand Slam champion, and then I'll be impressed. Zimmer framing onto the court and complaining that the ball boy looks scruffy. That...
New knees, please.
Yeah. That's a real champion.
Are you 15, love?
Jamie, what are you thinking about Ash Barty? Her decision and fair play to her, but is 25 generally too early to retire from anything?
Well, she'll raise some eyebrows when she tries to lift her pension.
I'm 25, you know.
Yeah, she's trying to show ID. Honestly, I'm retired. I don't know. I I feel sorry for Australia. You know, they've just lost neighbours, and now they've lost their tennis star. It's a shame.
Gareth, what do you think about this? At 25 years old, Ash Barty said, "That's it, I'm retiring." Do you think 25's too young to retire?
Not from like everything. Like if you're a 25-year-old paperboy. Probably time to jack it
in, yeah.
I think we should have a retirement age of 25 in Scotland, given our life expectancy. Get some time with the grandkids, you know.
Ash Barty retired at the age of 25. What had been your biggest achievement by the age of 25?
God, it's probably still Best Beaver.
To this day, Jamie, I don't think you'll top
No,
that.
I don't think so. I peaked at 9.
Ash Barty is the right answer. Well done. 2 points go to Jamie and Eleanor. And it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. So I'll read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. Get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
Could I have a comb over?
That's the actor Bob Odenkirk there, picking his next hairstyle. Right, fingers and buzzers, here we go. What is worth £4 million a year to the Scottish economy? Gareth.
Is it fishing trolleys out of rivers and getting the pound back?
What is worth £4 million a year to the Scottish economy? Eleanor.
Puffin memorabilia.
Oh, it'll be more than that, Eleanor.
Doesn't even scratch the surface. What are you talking about?
4 million.
What is worth £4 million a year to the Scottish economy? Jay.
If my smart meter's correct, my next energy bill.
The answer is the seaweed sector.
Could I have a comb over?
Oh, there we go. That's it. The klaxon has gone. Bob has Odenkirked. It's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Jay Lafferty and Gareth Wall. And commiserations to Jamie McDonald and Eleanor Martin. And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Breaking news just in. A fast and simple way to identify the mosquitoes that cause malaria has been developed by scientists at the University of Glasgow. Their nasal high-pitched buzz was the exact same frequency as the Ouija scientists, so they could just ask them directly. Starbucks paper cups could soon be a thing of the past as the coffee giant explores reusable options. Using the same Starbucks cup every time will be great for the environment, but does mean I'll spend the rest of my life being called Les. And the Met Police have received back less than half of the 100 questionnaires they sent out about illegal lockdown parties. They do expect a better response rate when they send them out with RSVP written on them. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye.